Looks like we're halfway there. There we go. Okay. Well, sweet. It looks like finally, after days of fiddling with it, we got some momentum going. We got a stream working. So, all right, let's play some Diablo 2 and hang out. Looks like someone's actually viewing. Thanks, whoever you are. That's awesome. And let me see. Probably will be a short stream because, again, this was a test stream, and also my dryer is going, and it's really freaking loud, so I hope it's not completely obnoxious. But playing some Diablo 2, we're playing some single player with the new Warlock. Definitely not like a speedrunner or anything. I'm very casual with how I game, so I'm not like Mr. Llama or anything, although I do like a lot of his content. I'll show you kind of what the setup is right now. Just a Tarn Helm for plus skills, Magic Find. I have an Ethereal Hexfire that I've been wanting to use on a character for a long time, and so then the Warlock being able to use swords really easily, and having plus fire skills, and there's a fire build, it just seemed like a no-brainer, so I'm excited to use that. Just Magic Find Amulet, Stealth. Inferno Strides I had laying around. I just like them for the theme, I guess, really more than anything. It's a little bit of faster run walk, and then it's super into the fire theme. We have a couple of Nago rings, and then a gold wrap for more Magic Find. I really like having some Magic Find in the early parts of the game, particularly like as you're playing through, especially through Nightmare, because it's not that dangerous, right? You don't really super need a bunch of resistances and stuff. And then Mage Fist. I mean, your fire build, your caster, you want Mage Fist. So, and then just some charms. I got some resistance in life, more resistances, a big mana charm, some more res, a couple of gold charms just because I had them laying around. I found this one, and then an attack rating and life charm that I found. So, let's see, where are we at? We are in Nightmare where we have not gotten the staff or anything yet. So I think we already did Radamant. Did we do Radamant? I did do Radamant. So we're gonna go out. We're gonna start killing some monsters. Let's go. We are using again the full pure fire build. So we got the Flame Wave, which is hilarious to me. It's incredibly. Normally I don't super like stuff that just deletes the screen, but we are in Nightmare, so if you're strong caster build in Nightmare, that's gonna happen, right? If I was a Blizz source, the screen would also blow up. So, but there's some. I think his spells look really cool, and it's very satisfying. Like just this giant Kamehameha wave of like death, like boom, just everything blows up. I also have a demon one. He is also in Nightmare. But I guess the Tainteds are bugged, so they're not working properly. They're not doing as much damage as they should. And I guess their Blood Boil synergy isn't working. So that's kind of sucks. So that's kind of why I'm messing around with this build. Hopefully they fix the demon thing soon, because I like the Tainteds and the Blood Boil. I mean, obviously you could run like the more physical build, and I'll probably do that at some point. One thing that I do like in Diablo 2 is there's so many different builds you can do, including like weird off-the-wall stuff, that I don't play a ton of endgame in this game. Like I obviously do have characters that are higher level and have more endgame stuff. I have like a Blizz source that's like level 95 or something. That I'll Magic Find with her sometimes, and I have like a couple other characters I like to play for, key farming, and I have a smiter that I'll go do Ubers with sometimes and things like that. But I generally like to do playthroughs. I find that more fun. And then, kind of get to the end of the game, play around for a little bit, and then, if a Terror Zone pops or that I think is interesting or I just want to play the character, I'll hop on and do some farming. But I don't generally play a ton of end games, so you're not going to see me run around with like a billion jaw runes or anything. Like, I have one Enigma, and it took me a very long time to get it because I don't play that much the end game stuff. Why is that in here? Get out of here. But yeah, Diablo 2 is probably one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's super fun. I like that it's challenging. I like that, generally speaking, until like in Nightmare it happens, but in Hell, like unless you're like pretty stacked, you don't just like melt the whole screen. Unless you're a Mosaic Sin, which you can, I don't play her too often. I have one. It's very powerful. The main thing I use her for is just farming Neolithak keys because she can do it so easily and it's pretty safe. And she's, can do it quickly. Let's head into Dry Hills. Probably just run through here because I don't need to get the cube because I already have it. Also, by far my favorite Diablo game. I grew up with Diablo 2, and so I just kind of, I'm not just nostalgic for it, I also just, I'm kind of a more slow-paced kind of a guy. Like, I like to take my time and, not like super rush through stuff. And just the way that, like, I liked when D4 came out, like, I really, really enjoyed the pre-launch time, like we had the like not quite the demo, but that kind of test realm stuff going on. That was so fun. Like the pre-launch game, we only had access to the first area, and like maximum level was like 20 or something crazy. That was so fun, and it got me. And I was like, okay, this gives me hope because I didn't really like Diablo 3, and so I was like, oh, D4 could potentially be really good. And then it ended up being kind of a lot of the same, like a lot of the modern games, it's like everyone just sprints to the end and like you don't enjoy the journey, and the journey also isn't fun. And that's not really how I like to play games. Like even on like I played Borderlands, and I have beaten, I beat normal with every character in the game before I go really into the end game stuff. That's just how I like to play. I like to have a variety of characters, even in fighting games, which I play a lot of. I'm not one of those people that just plays like one character. Like a lot of people I know do that. They play like one or two characters per game. I like to have a roster of half the cast that I enjoy playing usually, because I have severe ADHD and I need to constantly be changing stuff up or I get bored. So I'm super excited about the new content in Diablo 2 though, because we waited forever, assumed we would never get anything, and now we got a whole new character and some new items and stuff. And I hope that the leaks are not the end of it, that we're going to get more new stuff. That would be awesome. One of the things I would love to see is just some love for some of the uniques in the game. Like Tyrael's Might I don't have it. I've never had one. Again, I don't play a lot of endgames, so that's not super surprising, but also like it is the rarest item in the game. And I don't have one, and I've always been like, man, if I find it, that's gonna be so cool. But it's like, I want to use it. Like, I want it to be good. Like, in my mind, Tyrael's Might should be the best armor in the game. It's the rarest item, right? It should be like, holy crap, this thing's crazy. Even if it's like a niche thing to make, but it's like super powerful with a specific builds, like that would be cool with that. But the fact that it's like kind of bad and like Enigma's just 1,000 times more powerful than it kind of sucks. Like I'd like to see some of the uniques in the game kind of be able to compete with rune words a little bit more. So hopefully that would be a change. Also, they never fixed the elite bases for weapon damage. Years ago, they buffed the monster's health when they added synergies to the game because casters were blowing up the screen. But they never changed the base damage on elite bases. So that just kind of further emphasize the discrepancy between casters and fighters, which I would like to see that kind of fixed. I think that the barbarian being a little bit slower, like that's part of the charm, right? You don't play that character going if you're someone that wants to just blaze through the game, you're not going to play barbarian. But it would be nice if like he had the better bases and maybe a little bit of rework on his skills, kind of bring him in line more with some of the physical stuff that this character can do. I think that would be cool. I'm not thinking a complete overhaul because the game is very good as it is, but just cleaning some things up a little bit so that the older characters that are like have some of the crappier builds, like physical builds and stuff, can be a little bit better. I don't want everything to be hammered in. I don't want everything to be mosaic, especially because mosaic's like really gross. And actually it hurts my eyes too, so I don't play it very often. But like this is that's satisfying, just clearing an entire hallway. I mean, like I said, I don't really want to be necessarily doing that in Hell because I think that I like the challenge of Hell, but it is very satisfying when you're just like blasting a Kamehameha wave into Nightmare. Hopefully, get some, more viewers. Whoever you are that's watching, thank you. But this is just mostly for fun. Currently, job seeking and staving off boredom with streaming. This is my first one, and I think it'd be really cool to, I just enjoy the idea of streaming and playing games and chatting with folks. And my brother is also going to be streaming with me on some. We're going to play co-op games together. We played some Double Dragon Gaiden last night. We were going to stream it, but like I couldn't get OBS to agree with Twitch for whatever reason. So I spent my morning doing that after I applied for some jobs. So that's another thing we can talk about on the channel too. I am an executive director typically for when I am working. And my specialty is it's like culture revamps and leadership stuff and basically how to treat employees like human beings and not the way, unfortunately, a lot of companies treat them. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I'm happy to chat about that and kind of my leadership philosophy and how I like to, how I like to run things and how I think, if you're like a new leader or just became a manager for the first time or anything like that, I'm happy to spout words of wisdom to you if you'd like. The only thing I don't want to talk about on this stream is, religion and politics. That stuff grosses me out. Everyone's allowed to have their opinion, and I don't really want to share mine, and I don't really want to hear anybody else's, honestly. So, but everything else is, I'm down for. I like pretty much all things nerdy. I love, movies, TV shows, anime. Although I'm really kind of particular with the anime I like. I usually more go for like the 80s and 90s movies, like Ninja Scroll or Akira or stuff like that. Huge Dragon Ball fan though. I grew up with DBZ and always wished that I could. When I was a little kid, I wanted to be a Super Saiyan more than anything in the world. So, big fan of DBZ. And Dragon Ball Super as well. Really everything Dragon Ball. Although I never really got into Dragon Ball as much as the Z and Super, just because I didn't really have access to it when I was younger, and so I don't have as much of a nostalgia thing for it. But I do appreciate, like, obviously what it did, because without Dragon Ball we wouldn't have TBZ, and we would, Goku wouldn't be a household name. Other things about Diablo 2. Kind of like my history with the game. I grew up with it. Was when I was a kid, I didn't really have a computer for most of the time I was a kid, so I didn't get to play it as much as I would like. But the time I did get spent with it was just so impactful. The pace of the game is really fun for me, and I think it's just like an amazing game, like almost perfect. Like there's some things I would change. Like I said, make uniques and more able to compete with the rune words, but for the most part, this game is just absolutely amazing. And when I was a kid, I think my first character I ever played was Summoning Necro. I mean, that's pretty common for little kids. I wanted to have all these skeletons, and they can protect me and do all the fighting for me. I played a Summoner Necro and a Barbarian, and then eventually Cold Sorceress because my best friend, he played a Fire Source, and I was like, oh, I'll play a Cold Source, and turns out my build was just a little bit better because, you know, Blizzard and stuff. But yeah, Diablo 2 was just it was so fun back in the day. Like, it was so, there was nothing else like it, you know, the community and playing online and trading and stuff. Although I mostly am a single player. As you can see, I'm playing single player right now. I don't play online a ton, but you know, that's not off the table. Like, I have friends that every once in a while one of them will hop on D2 and I'll be like, hey, let's, you know, do a playthrough together or whatever. That's fun. Let's go back. So we're going to continue on. We did the bug layer. Now we got to go to find the snacks. But yeah, so I think the thing I like about this game the most is I love every single class, and as I said, similar to like me, who has pretty severe ADHD and needs to change things up on a regular basis or get incredibly bored. Having the fact that every class in the game I enjoy, and I enjoy several builds for every class in the game, that's really important to me. That's one of the reasons why I think this game is so amazing. Like, D4, you know, at the time, I did play it for a time. Started with Barbarian, because that's kind of usually my go-to in games is either like if it's a fantasy game, I'll usually go with the Barbarian. If it's a gun game, I'll usually go with the Sniper build. But those are kind of the type of aesthetics that I tend to like. And Barbarian was fun. Like, I played like, you know, spin to win and stuff, which is always fun. But it just wasn't. I think the Barbarian was actually better than some of the other classes in D4. I didn't really enjoy the other classes as much, especially playing Sorceress in this game and then going and playing the Wizard or whatever the hell just wasn't what I was looking for. I mean, the Cold Source was okay, you know, the ice spiky, explodey thing. I don't even know if that's good anymore, because I haven't played since before the expansion came out, the first expansion. I don't even know if they have a second one yet. I heard they're making one. But Diablo 3, or Diablo 4, I felt like it had a really good start. Like, the beginning of the game with Lilith and everything was really, really cool, and I felt like the story started off really strong. And then midway through the game just became like really tedious when you're killing that one guy over and over again, and he just was like, immortal or whatever, and so it was kind of the same fight over and over again, and that was really lame. And then I felt like the focus came off of Lilith and went on to the girl, I don't remember her name, and then it got kind of lame from there. She just wasn't. I mean, she's kind of annoying. She's kind of like a petulant child, and I felt like Lilith was far more compelling. And then also we don't have Diablo at all in the game, and we didn't really have Mephisto, so we didn't fight any of the primes, which, I mean, that's okay. I mean, we had Lilith, but I don't know. It just, and then I heard in the expansion, like I said, I didn't play it, so I can't really judge it, but I heard you also don't fight Mephisto properly. I don't know. It's a Diablo game. You should have Diablo in it, but I get for like the launch part having like Lilith be like the main bad guy, that makes sense, but like, I don't know. So D4 just wasn't quite for me. I hope it gets, also the gear in that game was just fucking obnoxious. Like, I'm sure it's better now, but like damage on Tuesdays was like really fucking irritating. I just found like 99% of the time I picked up an item, I didn't really know what it did. Like, it was like, you can kind of maybe piece together a little bit of what is going on here, but it was just so convoluted that it was really hard to. Did I miss it? No, I did not. It's down here. Oh yeah, I do have a teleport staff because, yeah. it just makes things so much easier to deal with and to move around. Although you don't necessarily, definitely don't need it. Like if you're playing, especially if you're playing a character that has like good movement skills, like Paladin, if you have charge, you don't really need a teleport staff. I mean, it is still a little bit helpful, but or like with my Amazon, my bow is on. I'll just use a harmony bow usually. Once I can get one, I'll use teleport staff earlier in the game, but again, I also am not the type that's like, I have to teleport everywhere. I don't ever, I just when I watch other people play, like it's like they get an Enigma and then they just never walk ever again, and that's just not how I like to play games. So, I mean, obviously teleporting around is nice, but taking the atmosphere, smell the roses a little bit. It's part of the game, part of the charm. So we're going through Claw Viper Temple. This area is not going to be too scary and nightmare, although in Hell, some of the snakes can be really dangerous, and or if you're a new player and you don't really know that they're going to charge you, it can be pretty dangerous. But the Warlock is so strong that you can kind of just, super worried about it. But it's time to go home. Again, I pick up a lot more shit than probably like most people who play, because again, I'm old. I'm a casual gamer. I don't really min-max a ton, so I already have that for the grill. That's kind of a neat sword if that damage. Let's get some repair going. Get a little faster cast rate stick that has no spells on it. That's kind of, and 2 sockets. That's a weird weapon. Anyway, let me go back. So I'll play games I'm going to be streaming on here is probably a lot of slower paced stuff. That way I can, again, kind of pay attention to chat and play at the same time. Which is new for me, obviously. But probably play a lot of XCOM. I really like XCOM. I also think it's a great pace because I can kind of like, in between moves, like check out what's going on in the chat and kind of hang out and communicate with you guys a little bit more. Whereas if I'm playing, a fighting game, that's, at least at this point of time, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So I'll probably keep fighting games mostly to off stream, but or if you guys want to see that, I mean, I'll stream that too. Like, I don't have a problem with that. I just know that reading, playing, all that stuff at the same time is a bit tough for me, at least at this juncture. So we'll play for a bit, and then I will be on later. I want to send a link to have some buddies that want to come and watch the stream, so to make sure that they get the link. And now that I have it properly set up and can actually like go live whenever I want now, and not have to worry about a bunch of settings that are gonna like not work, that'll be great. Also, I hope everyone can hear me. I know I kind of talk not the loudest, so yeah. Again, back to the leadership thing. I found that a lot of times you'll see companies really tend to promote kind of the loudest voice in the room, not necessarily the person who has the most to say. I very much disagree with that philosophy. I think that charismatic leaders only get you so far, because if they can't rely on their charisma, and then that tends to be where they start to really panic, and that's something you never want your leader to do. If you are a charismatic leader, I think that's a great place to start, but I would say definitely develop your other skill sets, because you don't want to have that moment where everyone's looking at you because you're like, Mr. Charismatic or Mrs. Charismatic, and then all of a sudden you don't have an answer at all for what's going on, and everyone else starts to panic because you're the answer person, right? That's your job. As a leader, I always tell my team, You don't work for me. I work for you. My job is to make sure that you can do your job effectively. And if that's not happening, then that means I'm doing something wrong. So anyway, that's enough of spouting leadership mumbo jumbo. Unless you guys want to hear more, again, just let me know. I'll talk about whatever. This is gonna be a dead end, right? Nope. Okay. Bank skin in here is super scary on normal and hell, but on nightmare it's just gonna melt. So, because he's always lighting enchanted, so in normal he's very scary because you hit him and he bolts you, and you probably don't have lightning resistance yet very much, and he just melts you very quickly. And in hell he's, you know, basically immune to light. He's immune to lighting and other crap, so he's very annoying. But now, I got snuck up on me. Sneaky, sneaky. Okay, so that was very Terry Bogard sounding. Sorry. 29 defense on the ground. We don't want that in our life. Oh yeah, this was what I was using before the Hexfire. Just a +2 fire skills, sword, Hell Plague. It's a fun one, but obviously +3 is going to be better. And this one's ethereal, so the requirements are a little bit less. Normally I think they're 55 dex and strength, or something like that. Okay, now we talk to Drognin, turns the sun back on, and then we can go into the castle or palace, I guess. I love Act 2. I know some people don't, but I think Act 2's aesthetic is absolutely beautiful. Kind of like the Arabian Nights theme, you know, fantasy is really cool to me. I actually ran a D&D campaign back in the day that had a town called Gulain, and it was very much inspired by and more or less ripped directly out of Diablo 2. It was basically Luke Lane, and my players absolutely loved it. And it's funny because some of them had played Diablo 2, but it was been so long that they didn't kind of put two and two together. But very, very fun. I love the kind of desert, you know, aesthetic with, you know, the forbidden temples and, you know, shit like that. It's just really cool to me. So always enjoy that. Act 1 I think is also amazing, especially for the fact that it is Act 1, because it's all like, you know exactly what you're getting into immediately. Like, it's like dreary and raining, and you're in like the moors, and it's all like atmosphere. Like, this whole game is atmosphere, but like maybe not as much as Diablo 1, but I think it's, I personally think it's, you know, is, but I know a lot of folks would disagree with that. But super atmosphere, like the fire. Yep. Let's just not worry about him then. For new players, you may be like, why did you skip that guy? Well, he's immune to fire, and I do fire damage. So, my mercenary maybe could kill him, but why waste the time? Just move on. That's something not everyone, a lot of newer age gamers aren't going to like that about Diablo 2, that you can't just kill everything. I guess if you have a Sunder, you kind of can, but there are certain things in the game that, yeah, your build isn't meant to fight, so just run past it. And that's fine. Like, you don't have to be able to beat everything, right? There's a reason the Justice League is more than one person, right? I mean, granted, yeah, so yeah, just run past it. It's not worth the incredible amount of butt kicking you'll deal with if those are both garbage. Okay. Arcane Sanctuary, this area is also really freaking cool to me. I know it can be a little bit frustrating for some builds because of the narrow walkways and whatnot, but I think that's part of the charm. And it's one of the things I like about Diablo 2 is, like, there are certain areas of the game that are annoying, but kind of in a good way. Like, it's annoying with purpose. Like, oh, guy's fire, man. So we're gonna run away from him. Even though my mercenary again could take him, but who cares? Let's just get out of the way. I think my mercenary just leveled up. He is 49 now. like having the teleport staff is I don't really want to mess around with the teleporters and oh crap, this one went over here, this one went over there. I mean, usually it's not that hard to figure out. There's only a couple of them, but you know, for the sake of argument. And we don't first weigh. I haven't been first weighing a lot lately. In fact, I've fourth weighed both last time in normal with this character and with my other warlock. I fourth weighed in normal and nightmare, I believe. So got a bit of a fourth weigh streak going. That's all right. And we leveled up again. We're pump vitality. We don't need any more stats for gear at this point. Not anytime soon. And we're just doing fire. This is definitely a build I would recommend for new players because it's very straightforward. You get enough. You probably get to whatever strength you want for whatever gear you're gonna want to wear. Maybe 55 because I'm using this sword thing, but if you can go lower. You can also go higher if you want to wear like different boots or something, but. And then same thing with Dex. I mean, you probably could get away with putting 0 in it pretty easily. Just use a staff or a knife. And then you just pump vitality. You don't really need to worry about mana. I do have an insight merc that does help, but even if you don't, just chug mana potion. That's fine. One of the things that's nice about having played so much is you kind of just have bases and stuff laying around. So if you guys like to see solo self-found stuff, though, I'm also happy to do those runs because I get that not everyone has stuff laying around. So those runs can be kind of fun. Just like, hey, we're all starting from 0. Let's do it together and see what drops. Kind of like Mr. Llama does his kind of guided playthroughs. I'm happy to do like I think doing some let's plays and having folks join in and we all build a character at the same time and kind of play through together. And that'd be fun. So, and yes, I am weirdly manic or weirdly kind of OCD about picking up potions and always getting the big ones. My brain is, I have ADHD and I'm on the spectrum, so I kind of do things a very specific way. Doesn't always make sense to other people, but it makes sense in my brain for whatever reason. I don't know. That's one thing I would say about this build is it's pretty mana intensive, so like if I didn't have the insight mark, I'd be chugging mana potions like crazy, which is fine, like a lot of builds do that, but like this spell costs 56 mana, like that's freaking nuts, like that's, like I don't know if many other, I can't think of off the top of my head of other spells that cost that much mana. Like I'm sure there are, there's like summons and stuff that cost like a ton, but it's a lot of mana. Fist of Heavens cost a grip too. I'll grab those just in case. I tend to like to pick up rares, especially boots, belts, gloves, because you never know. Rares can roll incredible stuff in this game. And even blue rings in Hell, I generally pick up all jewelry that I find, because even blue stuff, like a blue ring, there is a blue ring that rolls 40% Magic Find, and it's the only ring in the game that can do that, and it's a blue ring, which I think is neat. It doesn't have anything else on it, it's just 40 Magic Find, but 40 Magic Find's a ton, right? So, and if you want just max Magic Find character, I know it's right there, but... Oops. Warlock skills. I will keep that for in case we don't find anything better by the time we get to Hell, where the skills will be good. Because right now, Magic Finds, it's fine. Like I'm not in any danger, so I'd rather hopefully find something cool. Like if we could rip a Skin of the Viper Magi or something like that, that would be sick. Obviously, like an SOJ would be amazing. I farmed Andario for a little bit with this character, hoping to get an SOJ, and she didn't drop anything, which is fine. I mean, that happens sometimes. I've had streaks where Mephisto drops nothing. Hell, Mephisto will drop nothing for like an hour, and then all of a sudden I'll get like 2 arachnid smashes in 20 minutes. So, yeah, that's kind of the nature of the way the loot works in this game. Is it's very you'll run into these weird streaks where it's like this impossible to find item, and I found didn't find one for 6 months, and I found 2 of them in like one day. That's kind of and it's really weird, but that's just how statistics work with drop rates and stuff. Like when I did lower Kuros, I was lower Kuros farming to try and build my first grief, and I needed a low rune, and I ended up finding nothing for hours, and then I found 2 Burr runes in literally 15 minutes. It might have even been less. It might have been 5 minutes. Like, it was crazy. It was like less than 10 runs apart. I found Burr runes. So that happens. Stream's working. I figured it out. Alright, so we're going to go to the Canyon of the Magi. Going to get the teleporter, and I think we're going to log off for now. But I will be back later. Peace, guys.